If you think this is about being charitable, or if you think this is simply about, you acknowledge that it's a disgrace that the unemployment rate among returning veterans is ridiculously high, I guess we will have accomplished something today, but I think that's not enough. What we challenge companies to do using our platform at the NYSE is to say, if you take a step back and you think about what's in front of us, these returning veterans have leadership skills that few people, that are contemporaries of theirs have. They're problem solvers, they're great project managers, they're terrific at logistics, they're great at executing against a plan, they're humble, they've dealt with adversity that few of us have ever had to deal with. And that's all the stuff, by the way, folks, we can't teach.
I think what we identified early on in Team Rubicon is that in any situation as chaotic as a post-disaster environment, it's less about the hard skills that you have, it's more about the soft skills that you might have, leadership, the ability to analyze and mitigate risk, the ability to work in teams, the ability to handle stress. It doesn't take an HR whiz to look at a West Point grad who went to Harvard Business School and say, oh, I'm going to hire that veteran because he's an asset. Everybody should be able to figure that out. It's the Marine Corps sergeant that almost didn't graduate from high school who went but led 12 or 13 men overseas on 200 combat patrols that you need to be looking at and saying that person is an asset. And so what we're doing here is we're going into situations like Moore in Oklahoma with the tornado, and we're harnessing that ability to lead and organize chaos to create more effective disaster relief. And we're not an employment program. We're not trying to get these veterans jobs. We're trying to provide them with a new mission, a new sense of purpose as volunteers.
All of our employees are at various points in their lives dealing with different aspects of mental health. And something that happens, which is really unfortunate, is our society gets to this sort of idea that, oh my gosh, we can't hire veterans because they'll have that post-traumatic stress stuff, or they'll have been blown up, and how are they going to handle stress in the workplace? And the important message is these men and women who come home, most of them are not going to be experiencing severe mental health issues. And the ones that do, if we provide them appropriate care and support, whether it's in the employment space or whether it's in their family or their community, they will heal. And while they're healing, they can become amazing partners, parents, employees, employers. And so the message here is about understanding that our job as a society and as employers is to make sure that we recognize the assets, we bring them in to continue to lead, and while we're at it, we make sure we provide the resources.
So if you all take it back as your mission, which I think is a noble mission, by the way, to get this on your company's agenda, and your HR person gives you the traditional response of things they don't know about but think they know about, like it's 91% with no PTS or anything like it. And by the way, the 9% that do, you've got great people like the two people to my right who are trying to provide those services, so it's not all on you guys either to provide some of those services that you guys are talking about too.
I think companies are getting so more in touch with that now than it did certainly
really
on in those those years, 11 years ago, 9 years ago, even 7.5 years ago when I was hurt. One of the nurses that was in Balad, where I got all my skull removed and everything out when I was injured, and she became a very good friend, and she kept going back and forth. She was a reservist as a nurse, and she kept going so many times her company ended up firing her. They fired her. I did a story at World News for ABC, and it was the most satisfying thing because then they had to hire her back. And she said,
So
piss
see,
off,
we all
I'm not
use our
going back to
positions
you
the
and
way we
going
could
somewhere
use
else.
them, right?
But I don't think that happens much anymore. I don't think, maybe because they
People
know
are
that's
much
going to
more-
be
they're
pretty
much more
damn
tuned
well
into it.
known.